So the battery on the RX7 has been, it's pretty much draining every week because I'm not really driving the car right now. So I did take a quick break this week to get caught up on some family stuff, and I didn't really get to do too much work on the car. I am getting ready to get out and work on the brakes. So we got lots of projects lined up, but this video that you're about to watch is not a necessarily a car related video. When I was on my trip to pick up car parts last weekend, I had like 18 hours in the car, so I just took that time to kind of, you know, spit out some ideas that I had in my head about, you know, life on YouTube and, you know, my experience after having been on YouTube for about 3 months with this channel. So if you're here for a car build video, this is not that video, but I'm gonna let the car run for a little while and charge up the battery. It's starting to rain, so enjoy the video. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them down below. And again, it's not a car build video. It's just going to be some thoughts that I had about YouTube and the decisions I made to buy the RX7 off of B is for Build. If you want to see what I have to say, keep watching. Otherwise, I'll release a video this week that we pick back up on finishing the brakes. See you guys later. You know, I wanted to talk about a couple things, mostly YouTube and my experience with YouTube, and then, you know, maybe delve a little bit into the RX7 and the process that was. So YouTube, I have been a user of YouTube since 2005, pretty much when it launched. I was in college. You know, it kind of was that year it was just huge. It came out and everybody you know, jumped on it, and so but over the years I have dabbled in producing videos for YouTube with various themes and content, and so so I do have some past experience with YouTube. Now, the whole car situation came up as, you know, really just I had been wanting to get back into YouTube and explore my options with building cars, and, you know, I had looked at purchasing some cheap, you know, Toyota 86s or BRZs, or you know, trying to find maybe an older, maybe an E92 or E46 style M3, just something that would be a car that I would want to own, but also want to do a lot of work to and make a, you know, nice car. So that had been something that's been on my mind for a long time, but I knew that, you know, there's a lot of competition on YouTube. There's a lot of people out there that, you know, start channels every day, and so, you know, that don't kid yourself. There's millions and millions of people that produce or make YouTube videos across the world. So it is a very large market, but at the same time, it is basically the second largest website in the world. Google being the number one website in the world, but Google owns YouTube. So, you know, in a sense, the two can kind of be, you know, they're related. So, you know, there are, you know, I think it's 1.5 billion active users currently on YouTube. So, I mean, there's plenty of people that are out there looking for content. So I'm a fan, you know, of the B is for Build channel. That is, you know, something I do watch fairly frequently, and I do take it for entertainment value. I understand I'm not going there to see a detailed video on how to build a, you know, rebuild an engine or anything like that. Chris does his own thing. He enjoys what he does. He has fun, and, you know, I don't knock him for that. And if he's happy making that content and successful at it, then more power to him. I mean, that's why we're all here doing this. So when he had built the RX7, I watched along, and, you know, it was a good series, nothing to complain about. And then when he kind of went away from the RX7, you know, in passing, he'd mentioned about potentially wanting to sell it. So he had put out a video discussing how much he had paid for the car, and understanding that he has lots of sponsors and donations and all that good stuff. So, you know, that value that he has in that car is not necessarily all money out of his pocket, but besides the point, you know, I kind of saw that as an opportunity. I saw it as, this is the car that I've been waiting for to start my channel. Yes, it is another YouTuber's car. Yes, it's a car that people are already going to know about. So those things certainly weren't going to hurt me, at least in my opinion, if I got this car. So I shot an email to Chris, and I said, hey Chris, I'm interested in the car. If I buy the car, I'm going to feature it on maybe my YouTube channel. You know, what kind of price are we looking at? So
he didn't respond to me right away. I think it was actually a week later. I think it was actually in the middle of, it was right after my daughter was born, and I was sitting at home one day, maybe while she was taking a nap or something, and I realized that he hadn't emailed me. So I went ahead and emailed him back, and I said, hey Chris, did you get a chance to see my email? So he did respond to that one. Of course, the time difference, I'm on the East Coast, he's on the West Coast, that there was some delay in communications. It seemed like every other day we were getting in contact. So he told me what he was asking, and I told him basically, I looked at what was in the car, and I looked at what I could find locally to where I live, or even regionally, and if I could find a decent running RX7, and I really couldn't. I mean, I could certainly find decent ones that were in the 25, 30,000 or more range. I mean, there are plenty of super nice ones, but that was obviously more money that I wanted to spend, and I wanted to have a project car. And I had told Chris that if I got the car, I would focus on the things that he didn't get a chance to address, such as brakes, engine. He did do suspension a little bit, but I'd like to go in and actually redo the suspension. So, I knew that I was going to get plenty of projects once I got the car. So after we negotiated a price, I got into contact with a shipping company, and I paid the money to have the car shipped from Washington State out to Kentucky. And I think I paid $1,600 or something to have it travel, basically across most of the United States. And it was like 2,500 miles, something like that. But anyway, I gave him the money, and as part of that deal, I said, please include any extra parts and that you have for the car. So when the car arrived, it was jammed full of all sorts of extra parts that he had. A lot of the CS racing components that he didn't get to put in the car from his build, extra body panel stuff that he had, and then he ended up shipping me a separate box of the remainder that wouldn't fit in the car, basically. So all things considered, I paid a decent price for a running RX7. So that's that. I just want to get that out there because I've mentioned it before, but I think that my channel did have when I released my first video back in the very end of May, it had like very few views. I mean, as what I kind of expected. It had 20 views or something in the first several days, and then a week later it had maybe 100 views. And so I had kind of thought maybe I had overguessed the situation. And obviously YouTube is, like I said, it's a very dense market of content, and so you've got to have all your ducks in a row on your tags, your descriptions, your searching, so that people can find your video. And so one day my wife and I were sitting down eating dinner, my phone buzzed. I had 4 emails from YouTube saying I had 4 new subscribers. And granted, I had repurposed an old channel that I had, so I had 100 subscribers to start with that probably had completely forgot about my channel and maybe not even on YouTube anymore. My phone buzzes, I get a notification say you've got 4 new subscribers. So I didn't think too much of it at that time because it's 4 subscribers. I mean, that could have been old emails, who knows. So I go take a bite of my dinner, my phone buzzes a bunch more. I got 7 new emails about subscribers. So I look over at my wife and I say, what's going on? I need to log in to my actual account and see if these are actual subscribers or what's going on. By the time I finished my dinner and walked over to my computer, I had 80 new subscribers. And it just kept going and going and going like that for about 48 hours, where, I mean, I went from 120 subscribers when I had my first video released to a couple thousand or 3,000 or 4,000. I can't remember the number, within a couple days. So what ended up happening was, I think a lot of people found my channel from the B is for Build channel, and people were probably curious about what was going to become of the car. So I think I had this huge surge in the first week or so, or really it was the second week after my video had been released, of people coming to my channel. And so I didn't expect that type of growth to continue, but and it certainly hasn't. But I wasn't prepared for that kind of growth, and just I mean, I had thousands of emails, and I didn't know to keep the notifications turned off and how to manage all the stuff. And of course, what came along with that was a lot of mixed emotions, because you know, I had no bad feelings about Chris and his channel. I enjoy his channel. I watch it, and like I said, I take it for entertainment value. He does builds that he wants to do, and he can, and a lot of times the cars that he's buying are cars that could potentially have been destined for being parted out or whatever. So I don't get too upset when I see him cut up a car. I mean, he's doing what he wants to do. He's having fun, and you know, he's successful on YouTube. So that's that. But you know, I wasn't prepared for the wave of two. There was basically three groups of people on my channel or watching my videos. There were those that were, I think, passionate about Chris and his channel, and they perceived me as bashing him, and so they came to my channel to bash on me because they thought I was bashing on Chris. And there's the second group of people which never liked Chris or his channel, and basically used my videos as a message board to tell us about how they felt about Chris. And so that made me very cautious about what to do on the channel. I actually felt somewhat disappointed that was kind of the mix of reactions I got. And then of course there was a third group of people that either they didn't know about Chris or they didn't care, and they're just there to watch a car build. So you know, it was a wide range of people commenting on my videos and lots of dislikes and things like that. So I wasn't prepared for that. I wasn't prepared for all the negativity, I guess. I knew to expect some of it, but I guess I may have underestimated what would happen getting another YouTuber's car and presenting that on my channel. So the first several videos, you know, I tried to relay, you know, I got the BS for Build car, here's what we're gonna do, blah, blah, blah. And like I said, it just, the negativity, and you guys won't see a lot of this on my channels because after a while, I end up putting, you know, basically a filter on some of that because, you know, I wasn't there to paint any negativity towards Chris. He and I have no negativity towards each other. And so that made me feel bad because that wasn't my intent. And you know, I obviously do what I want to do, but at the same time I've got to be respectful of Chris and his channel, respectful of YouTube and their guidelines. So I don't go through and monitor all the comments, but when I get one that I feel is overly hateful, I will hide it or delete it because again, I'm not, that wasn't my goal. Anyway, so my channel didn't really grow. It grew really, really fast. I mean, I probably surged up to 7,000 subscribers within a couple weeks, and it slowly started tapering off. And like I said, with all the mixed reactions, I think I got a big bag of people, of various, people curious about various parts of what was going on. So fast forward a few weeks, my viewership has gone down, my subscriber count has slowed down, and you know, now I'm actually getting into the nuts and bolts of the car. And I feel like, you know, I'm starting to feel what a person starting a YouTube channel would feel pretty much from day one, where the content was just, or the growth is just, it's a very difficult process. And so I just wanted to talk about that. You know, there's been a few people comment on my video about them, you know, wanting to start their own YouTube channels, and you know, all power to you. If you have it, you know, if it's something that you're interested in, then there's no reason not to. If you think you've got something that's people are going to be interested in watching, people are going to find value in, and I think that's the big thing about YouTube is providing videos that provide a value to the people that are watching the video. You know, being in my mid-30s, you know, I think that I'm a little bit later in the game, especially when it comes to the automotive genre of YouTube channels. And so my viewership is you know, I think my average viewer is over the age of 25, and I'm, you know, a lot of the bigger YouTube channels like BS for Build, Adam LZ, TJ Hunt, you know, all those different ones, I'm sure they have a little bit younger audience to tap into. So, you know, it's very interesting to see, you know, 40% of my views actually come from within the United States. So 60% of the people around the world or various countries are watching my videos. So it's kind of cool to see the reach that you can have doing something as simple as, you know, rebuilding a car or whatever. So it's very interesting. And, you know, a lot of people get on YouTube or have this thought of YouTube being a financial boom and maybe a side project, and the reality is that's really not true. You know, maybe when you get on average, you know, 15 to 20,000 views per video, you know, you're going to start, and if you put out one video a week, you're going to make a little extra money on the side, but not a ton. You can basically count on potentially making $2 for every 1,000 views that you get. And that's really not conservative, because there's so many factors that go into the monetization and the process. And so, you know, I'm doing my channel as this is going to give me a platform to teach and show people things, and also build cool cars for myself. And if I do happen to make a little extra money on the side, then all that money is going to go back into car parts or tools or whatever I need to continue making content. But, you know, I can tell you from firsthand experience that my channel is small in the grand scheme of things, and it's you know, going through the monetization process on YouTube is a little bit tricky. I had no real plans to get monetized until I knew my channel was going to grow to, you know, 10-15,000 subscribers. But I started finding out that the process for getting monetized was very difficult this year because of all these rule changes, such a surge of people coming on to YouTube. I was being told it was taking, you know, 3 or more months to get through the monetization process. So when I started finding that out, and, you know, there's a lot of steps to going through the monetization process or applying for monetization. And so I went ahead and started the process, you know, 2 months ago, just because if people are telling me it's taking 3, 4, 5, 6 months to get through, and it's not first come, first serve. They certainly give priority to the larger channels. So if you meet the minimum threshold and you got 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours, and you can actually apply for monetization, you've got a mountain to climb, because you're going to be the very bottom of that pile. And every day there's going to be people coming on that may have more subscribers and more views than you. And I can't speak on behalf of YouTube, but that's just kind of how it seems like it's being presented, is that priority obviously will be given to the channels that would benefit the most, both YouTube and the YouTuber, from that monetization. So it took me 7 weeks before I got any kind of confirmation that my application for monetization had been approved. And so, yes, if you guys have noticed, my last few videos have had commercials in them, or ads, and, you know, I'm testing the waters just to see what the result is going to be. And frankly, it's basically what I thought. I mean, I'm basically making a couple dollars a day at best, just because I don't have huge amount of views. I mean, I'm not rolling in hundreds of thousands of views a day. So, you know, I'm starting at the bottom like everybody else. But just know that if you start a YouTube channel and your main purpose is to make money, I don't think you're going to be happy. I don't think that you're going to stick with it. I think you have to be making your videos because you're passionate about something. You have something you want to share with your audience. And once you have successfully reached an audience and started developing a viewer base, and you keep growing that channel and growing that channel, I think, you know, obviously the monetization is something that nobody would necessarily turn down, but, you know, there is a benefit to putting out this content. So, you know, I don't know, this is a totally rambling video, and I know I've lost probably 2/3 of the people watching this, but like I said, I just wanted to cover a couple things just to throw them out there for anybody that was thinking about YouTube or curious about YouTube. And, you know, there are lots and lots and lots of people making lots and lots of money on YouTube. I think having a specific channel or having a very specific audience will help you grow a channel. But, you know, like the automotive themed YouTube channels out there, there's a lot of them. And so, you know, it's very arduous to get through to your audience, because, and you know, everybody's going to have their favorites already, and you know, they may already be spending several, you know, minutes of their day watching their favorite YouTube channels, and may not be looking to add to that, you know, upkeep. They say you're lucky to gain 10,000 subscribers in a year if you're doing, you know, one video a week kind of uploading, and you're kind of doing everything you need to be doing, you know, helping push your videos on social media, doing proper tags, descriptions, and, you know, basically, you know, crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's to get as much traction as you can. And again, that's not the norm, but they say that's what to expect if you go in on it. It's probably been 5 weeks ago I did that 10,000 subscriber video, because at that time I was gaining several hundred subscribers a week on average. And so for me, I was kind of projecting that, well, 2 weeks roughly would have gotten me to 10,000 subscribers based on that growth that I had been experiencing. Well, I either cursed myself or shot myself in the foot, or something happened, because since that video, my channel has grown very, very little. In fact, I actually lose more subscribers now. Like I probably just lost 10 of you watching this video, but I lose more subscribers now when I release a video than I gain. So any given week, I may lose 10, 15 subscribers, but only gain 10 or 12 subscribers, or maybe I'm lucky and I gain 20 subscribers. So right now I'm in a real awkward point, because my channel is actually going backwards, and subscriber numbers are not the end of the world. You don't define success off the number of subscribers that you've got, but you know, it is kind of a benchmark to say, you know, how many people am I able to reach with my videos. But you know, so it's a weird thing right now, and that's what I was saying. It's a lot of, this road is really rough. There's a lot of emotional ups and downs with YouTube. You'll have a high, you'll get, you know, 10, 20, 30 new subscribers in a day, and you're like, yes, I've kind of broken through a small area, and, you know, and progressed my channel. But then the next day you'll wake up and find you lost 20 subscribers. So it's just a weird time on YouTube, especially being a small channel. And I've had, you know, mixed results with reaching out to companies or reaching out to other YouTubers and saying, hey, you know, I'd like to do this or that, or, you know, it's just a weird time right now. And I've had pretty much no success at all in contacting other companies. And I'm not, you know, I'm a tiny channel. I don't have a lot to offer, you know, companies to provide me parts and promotion stuff. But at the same time, I want to try to build those relationships so that when my channel continues to grow, or if my channel continues to grow, that I've already got those contacts, and I can start building off those relationships. So you may start seeing some sponsored content on the channel. You know, it would only certainly relate to any kind of project I'm currently doing. That kind of stuff won't be a huge portion of my channel, but I'm not a salesman. That's not what I'm here for necessarily. But you know, if I do find a product that I think is worthwhile and it's worth you guys knowing about, or you guys using and having in your tool chest, then I'll certainly do my best to try to get a, you know, sponsorship or something for that product, so that, you know, we can all benefit from the situation. One thing that I kind of underestimated having a YouTube channel was the time involvement, and really putting out a video is what you make it. You know, you could put in, you know, film your video and don't edit it and throw it on there, and you really don't have a whole lot of time invested in it other than making your video. In my case, what I'm finding is, aside from, you know, the actual time it takes me to video, which, you know, when I do a project, you know, having the video camera running and being cognizant of the camera, I mean, that certainly adds more time to the process, because, you know, there's just extra work involved dealing with the camera angles and setups and making sure my arms aren't in the way all the time. But, you know, editing for me, it's for most of my videos, you know, I'm probably spending more time in the editing process than I am making the original video. You know, by the time I go through it all, make sure the audio levels are correct and clear, you know, cutting out all as much of the unnecessary stuff as I can, you know. So all told, for me to put out one video a week and do some social media stuff that goes along with that, realistically, I think including the time to film the video, edit it, and upkeep, it probably is about 20 hours a week investment to do one YouTube video. And like I said, it's really what you put into it. If you're, I could certainly expedite my editing process, and hopefully the more videos I produce, the better I'll be on the filming side, so I don't have as much to edit out, or I can try to get more concise and quicker as I go. But right now, Jesus, rough roads out here, crazy. But the reality is that I do work 40 or more hours a week during the day, and so I am squeezing in all my YouTube time late in the evenings after my daughter's gone to bed, or on the weekends when I've got all the husband stuff done and the dad stuff done, and I have time to get out to the garage and do what I need to do for videos. So that is one thing I wasn't prepared for, was the amount of time it would take to upkeep with the YouTube channel. And so anybody that's out there that's considering that, is it is something to consider, because it's like having another half-time job every week. And it's just, I squeeze it in when I can. There's a lot of weekends where I don't have time, or there's a lot of weeks where I'm like, I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to get a video out. And so those are the times where I'm up until 1 o'clock in the morning forcing the edit, or trying to get the edit and upload and all that. So that is one thing I didn't really think about when I started a YouTube channel, was the realistic time involvement from the concept of a video through publishing the video, and then even after, certainly take a few hours here and there, but 20 hours a week at least, or 15 to 20 hours is probably what I'm averaging to upkeep my YouTube channel. Yeah, YouTube. This video's about to end anyway. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.